It's time for the Fantasy Football Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping loads of fantasy football knowledge all up in your eardrums. Here they are, Lyle Keel and Kevin Moore, the Fantasy Football Guys.
That is right, bitches. We are the Fantasy Football Guys. Kevin.
Lyle.
And we are streaming live for the first time this season, for the
That's
2016 season. You can actually see what we're doing, which is kind of frightening for everybody.
We're sorry.
Yeah, you got to look at this.
We'd like to formally apologize.
I started cleaning up the studio deskage today, and I realized just how dusty this is.
It's bad. It's
Yeah,
bad. You guys are horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what people should say.
We have a lady coming in, come in to clean. I ought to get her to dust it.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want her touching the board. She can't touch the board.
Yeah. Well,
Anything else is fine.
that board has never been dusted. We set those damn controls like 9 years ago.
Don't mess with it.
And they have not been touched since.
Do not mess with it.
So anyway, we are the Fantasy Football Guys. We're netcasting live on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we're recording this as a podcast. You can check it out on our own website, thefantasyfootballguys.com. You can check it out on Stitcher. Find it, of course, on iTunes and various and sundry other spots around the web like SoundCloud and other places. There you can find it. Anyway, so also check out the Fantasy Baseball Guys. They're continuing to roll, I hope. Yeah, of course they are. But you can also check out our friend Kyle Conkiel, who's doing Tour Bus Confidential, interviews with folks around the music scene. And
Last
coming
one was
back,
especially good, yeah.
Coming back. Yeah, I have to check that one out.
Yeah.
Coming back soon is the Fantasy Hockey Guys, Tim and Steve.
They'll be rolling soon, hopefully.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah, man. Maybe we'll do an episode of Random at some point.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out Random, it's what Lyle and I did as our off-season project. I think we got, 8 episodes
I
in the
think so,
off-season?
yeah. I'd like to do more, but
Yeah.
we just don't have time.
It's a matter of time. And coming up this season, we're 2 Saturdays away from our Saturday show debuting. And after the season starts, we're going to be doing the late night Monday, Tuesday. When you wake up Tuesday morning, we're going to have a waiver wire show for you for your ride into work. And then for Thursday, you can tweet your questions into Lyle, and he'll do a Thursday night.
Thursday. You just said Thursday.
I said Thursday night.
You did.
Thursday night. I didn't say Thursday. I said Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Anyway, the day after frickin' Wednesday.
You said it.
Day before Friday.
Just saying.
See, I just said Wednesday. Anyway, Twitter questions, you can get that going. So we're going to be in your eardrums a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess it's up to you whether we are or not, but we're going to be there if you want us.
I mean, it's going to be out, erect, and ready. It's up to you whether or not you will accept said challenge.
The offering,
right,
as it were.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a look at the news real quick. We have a lot of questions to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, we do. A whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so we're probably going to get to that.
You okay?
You were pointing at something. I was looking to see if maybe there was a bug or something. Anyway, we're going to be getting to those questions pretty early tonight because I think they're going to cover a lot of what it is.
I mean,
that you want to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what the world is asking.
By the way,
yeah. By the by,
our boy Buzz.
Yeah,
Buzz's Barbecue. I got some stuff in the mail. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't see those sitting there, though. This is the
Spicy Bugalo Barbecue.
Oh, I like he.
And
makes
also
some good sauce, man. He makes good sauce.
Oh, that's original. Maybe it's this one.
Yeah, just reach your stubby, tiny little arms out.
Nope, you got it over there.
Pineapple 2.1?
That's not it. It's one next to the dry rub.
Here's the glorious orange ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also sent along some 3.0 version dry rub.
Some dry rub. Yeah.
So we're going to try that. So
Very
we're excited.
Yeah, dude makes good barbecue sauce, man. Man, if you're into that, or,
how can you not be?
American.
Well, if you're like Lyle and me, football is your passion.
Yeah, man, you know the players, the teams, their strengths, their weaknesses.
Put all that knowledge into the test and play for your shot at the $1 million top prize in the regular season Week 1 contest at DraftKings.com.
It's just part of the $5 million in total prizes they're doling out for the Week 1 contest.
Now, you know that DraftKings.com is the destination for 1 week fantasy football.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments.
Play whenever you want with the players that you want.
Just pick the contest, draft your players, and follow your team live.
Renew old rivalries with buddies by challenging, those buddies, and family and private leagues to prove you're the superior GM.
Or join an existing league and go head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players from all across the country.
Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use promo code GUYS, GUYS, when you sign up. That's key. And play for free with your first deposit.
After you sign up, play in some preseason contests to get warmed up for the huge Week 1 contest.
That's promo code GUYS when you sign up to play free for your share of the $5 million in total prizes in regular season Week 1. Just a couple weeks from now, Lyle.
That's right. Only at DraftKings.com.
DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See the website for details.
Right.
That's right. So, okay, we got all that going for us. So let's take a look at some news and rumors, etc. We talked about it a little bit last week, and this isn't necessarily fantasy news, but it is NFL news. You remember the Al Jazeera report that named Peyton Manning and a bunch of other players. It's basically saying that they took performance-enhancing drugs. So, in obligatory meetings, Clay Matthews, a couple other guys had to meet with the NFL just to talk about it. Julius Peppers, and now James Harrison's going to get called in Thursday over this report. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think, first of all, it bothers me that the NFL has this amount of power. That
to call somebody in.
There can be a report, right? And then they go, hey, we need to talk to you about this, and you have to show up.
Yeah.
I think that's BS. In this country, we have a lot of rules around due process. And I'm not familiar enough with the players' agreement with the NFL to know the collective bargaining agreement, I guess it would be, to know if this is a requirement.
Going to go ahead and be the CBA?
But if somebody accuses you of using steroids, you shouldn't have to be interviewed. I'm sorry. They should have something other than that. Now, to be fair, maybe they do. Maybe there's other anecdotal evidence. Maybe there's, some other stuff. Maybe they were looking at these players anyway. Who knows?
Maybe.
That's not out in the media. But what I'm hearing, at least from what we're reading and stuff, is that there was a report in a news outlet that said people were doing something shady, and now they have to run to the principal's office because of that. And I think that's BS. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I think it's, kind of the same way if you work in an office and the boss hears a rumor that you're doing something, the boss calls you to his office. It's kind of like that.
Right.
When the boss says come to the office, you go to the office. You don't have to necessarily get on a plane to go to the boss's office, but it's not unlike that. If your boss called you, say your boss was in Wilmington, and your boss called up and said, Lyle, I need you to come in tomorrow so we can have a conversation, you're going to go up there.
Sure. But if he was like, hey, Lyle, we need to have a conversation because we read a report about you smoking marijuana, I would tell him to go, kiss my ass. I'd say, call up HR. That's what I would do. I'd go, hey.
You tell your boss to kiss your ass.
Well, not in those words, but I'd say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, come into the office and discuss this with you. If I didn't do it, or even if I did, I guess, and I was lying about it, I would say, I unequivocally deny any of these accusations.
I'm not a crook.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna embellish them any further. I mean, honestly, as an innocent person, I've always felt this way. You should kind of middle finger people and go, no, I'm not going to talk about it. I didn't do it. Back off. Bye.
Yeah, you are about that life.
Yeah. Kind of.
The stories that Lyle could tell you about some of the things he's said and done.
I've had some pretty.
When you go to a Price Club and you get your cart full of groceries and you're getting ready to leave, there's a person at the door who wants to check your receipt.
Oh, really?
Lyle refuses to let them check his cart.
As a matter of fact, I've gotten into physical altercations with elderly people at Walmart because of this. Not me being physical. They've grabbed me and me being like, had to look at an old lady and go, ma'am, you need to take your hands off me right now. Here's the thing, Kevin. All right. So we're going to talk about it real quick. This is a huge pet peeve of mine because when I buy something at a store, okay, as soon as I give them my money and they hand me a receipt, the property that I just bought is now mine. Okay?
Oh, I agree.
The receipt is also mine. It's my property, right? It's not theirs. It's mine. I am under no obligation to let anyone including police, inspect my property. Right? I'm just not.
Without a warrant for your cart of groceries.
Without a warrant. I'm under no obligation to do that. And the thing is, this happens to me all the time because I ride my bike and I don't want a bag. Right? Because I stick stuff in my backpack. So I don't want a bag. So I buy stuff, I stick it in my backpack, and I roll out the store, and people are like, whoa, you don't have a bag. Or you just put stuff in your backpack. And it's like, well, I'm sorry. I paid for it. So get out of my way. I don't have to talk to you, minimum wage worker. I feel bad that they're making you do this.
Oh, you're an elitist.
No.
Oh, so if they made more money, you would feel the need to talk to them.
No. I feel bad for them that they're put up to this task because Walmart's particularly bad. Look at their their shoplifting policies and stuff. Target is totally different, like the way they handle stuff. But Walmart is particularly ruthless. Like if you steal a 50-cent pack of gum, they will prosecute you. And in fact, there's
probably because the margin on the gum is bigger than most of the products.
Well, it might be true, but there's a lot of Walmart gets a lot of flack for what they call I don't know, they're forcing police to enforce their shoplifting policies instead of just dealing with a certain amount of theft loss that every other retailer deals with. Anyway, the point is that I know you think it's crazy that I don't show my receipt.
Oh no, I applaud you for not showing your receipt.
Yeah, but I think it's BS, and I think that nobody should ever do that. You should not. The exception is like Costco or something where you sign a contract with them that says, hey, when you leave the store, you have to show a receipt.
Right.
If you want to be a member. It's different.
You're agreeing to it up front.
It happened. It used to be routine that I would show it. Didn't bother me. But then I went to Best Buy one time, like 2 days before Christmas, and there was a line leaving the store, and I was like, F this, dude. I'm walking right by. And a dude grabbed me, and I was like, look, man, you can take your hands off me or you can get arrested. You know what I mean? Or I can, knock your head off. And he let me go. Of course. He's the dude working the door. He's like, whatever.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
This crazy bearded
but
bastard in front of me.
You hear people about, this happens a lot. Like, Walmart, like people get tackled and stuff. Like, but not around here.
Yeah.
In the South. It's always somewhere else. Right. Yeah. Anyway.
Can we get back to?
Well, thanks for bringing it up. I had to defend myself.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go on a 5-minute diatribe there. Anyway, Pete Carroll saying that Thomas Rawls will play in the season opener. Haven't seen him yet in the preseason. We've seen a bunch of Christian Michael. Haven't seen any Thomas Rawls.
Nope.
So if you're a Thomas Rawls owner, if you grabbed him in the 3rd or 4th round, this is good news for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wasn't that worried about him, I mean, a lot of people are saying that, they're not sure about Rawls. I'm actually a big fan.
If he's healthy and ready to go, I am too.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the Madden creators trolled Des Bryant a little bit, showing he basically giving him a low rating, and Des is pissed.
It's kind of funny, but
but
then again, he's a Cowboy, so it kind of makes sense.
Plus, he's coming off an injury-plagued season, so that's all kind of funny.
I don't know. Yeah, man.
I love it. Colin Kaepernick is on track to play this week from his fatigued arm. That is a big-ass show there in San Francisco as far as what they're going to do with their quarterback. The real fantasy solution there is don't draft either of them. In fact, it's probably prudent to stay away from most, if not all, 49ers at this point. Let somebody else take that risk.
Maybe Hyde. Hyde's probably the only one that I'm interested in at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other guys you might go, maybe.
I'm just saying, Hyde's pretty much the guy that I'm looking at, and everybody else is like, I think I'll fade. Kaepernick certainly isn't on the radar at all.
No, even if he was the guy, he wouldn't be on the radar.
Right, and he's, not, so.
So I drafted in a league yesterday. It was a 12-team standard.
Ooh,
Dion Lewis did not get drafted.
Wow.
Well, he's expected to miss 8 to 10 weeks following surgery.
Yeah, but you would think that you might just grab him in the last round as a flyer.
Maybe.
I always do that, man.
He's still out there.
I'll hear a report about somebody blowing an ACL or one of the reasons I drafted Jordy Nelson last year. They weren't 100% sure about his injury at that point. I mean, there was a lot of news about it, but still, I've done this many, many times. Dude, my last pick, sure, I'll take that guy just to see. Maybe they go, oh, you know what, the additional tests, blah, 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 he's going to be back in 4 weeks. And you go, win. You know what I mean?
Well, and I fully intend. Now, there's a couple of people in the league yesterday that listened to this show, so if I'm going to do this, I'll probably have to do it right away. But maybe going to pick him up. And who knows, the way Belichick works, when he comes back in week 11, all of a sudden he's getting every carry.
He might.
I'll
tell you what, he's going to be a waiver wire pickup.
You bet. He is. Norv Turner sees no signs of Adrian Peterson slowing down. No, of course, even if he did see it, he wouldn't say so.
Yeah, so it's sort of irrelevant.
It kind of is. But
it doesn't surprise me. I mean,
anytime I can say the word Norv, I'm going to.
Right.
Jarvis Landry said Miami's high-octane offense made the Cowboys players puke.
It's ridiculous, but what I'm hearing that Landry is really having a great preseason. So
yeah, I have too.
Excited about him.
If you're in a PPR, Landry
he's a must.
He flies
he's
right
a
up the
must.
I can't remember where I have him on my list, but it's high. So there's something fishy about these Josh Gordon trade rumors. Allegedly, there is a rumor that Cleveland themselves started the Josh Gordon trade rumor story.
Right.
Just to kind of make it a thing.
To try to
create a buzz to try to get Josh Gordon out the door before he becomes a free agent at the end of this season.
Well, he'll be restricted, though, right?
Let's see.
I think he's restricted.
He will be a restricted free agent.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, honestly, do they want him? I think they just want to trade him just because they want to trade him.
Well, he hasn't been a factor on the team for years.
But when he's in, he's so good.
He is. So
he's one of those dudes that's just like, come on, please get your S together and not be a bonehead.
We've been talking about this dude forever.
We have, but you remember the season he broke out, he was suspended the first part of that season.
Yeah, first 2 games, I think.
Yeah, and then he was it 2 or was it 4? I can't remember. But anyway, he came back and he was a monster. A monster. He's got all the physical skills. He could be, another TO. He could. But unfortunately, he's got that brain that keeps, getting him into trouble, which unfortunately happens a lot to pro athletes.
It happens to a lot of pro athletes.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not a lot, because you look at the number of football players in the league and the number that have legal trouble or domestic trouble.
It's
not that many.
You know what? Let me say that again. It happens to a lot of star or high profile pro athletes. Across the board, regardless of sports. Excuse me, Kevin. Irregardless of sport.
Thank you.
Supposedly.
Oh, Jesus. So let's see. We're only like half an hour into the show, but I think we have about 20 questions we have to get to.
You want to start doing questions right now?
I think we need to, man. I mean, we have so many, and some of these are in depth. And I don't want to sell anybody short. I want to be able to give everybody the answers that they deserve.
I'm fine with doing questions and whatnot.
By the way, Liz Losa is going to be back this year.
It's juicy knowledge.
She may not be back for the entire year, but she's going to be back for a lot of the year. She's got some things going on with her job, etc. That may take her elsewhere. But she's going to be back.
That's fine. Love this.
Let's see what else we got going on here. Steeler fan at the forum says, "Hey, FF guys, I won the championship belt 2 years ago and came in dead last year."
I did too in one of my leagues, pal.
Thank you.
Struggle's real.
Yeah, it is real. 12 teams, a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, a tight end, 2 flexes. It's a 1-point PPR, 0.25 point per rushing attempt, half a point per 5 yards receiving or rushing.
Yeah.
So it's 1 point for 10 yards like everybody else. The rest of the scoring is usual. He picks 11th. I say he, may not be a he. They pick 11th. It seems like in the mock drafts at 11, I'm getting choices of Dez, A.J. Green, Le'Veon Bell. Strategy based on the magic formula was to go 4 straight wide receivers in the first 4 rounds.
I don't hate it.
If Le'Veon Bell is there at 11, how do I pass him up?
No, you're right. I mean, he's probably the caveat to that because he's such a great receiving running back. But I can tell you, I haven't even looked at the numbers yet. I can tell you that you can start 4 wide receivers, so you probably should in a PPR.
Yeah, I mean, your running backs are not going to be fabulous, probably, but you'll be able to find
let's
value.
Look at the numbers here.
So, technical question or comment. In using the magic formula calculator, thanks for making it easier to find.
You're welcome.
I was inputting values from my league. I first did the calculation for a half-point PPR, 5 yards receiving or rushing. The RB total difference was 191. The RB weekly difference was 12 points. Wide receiver was 353 and 22. That's huge.
Yeah, and that's that difference between the 36th wide receiver and the 48th. That's like it's a huge drop off right there. So that's why you got to draft him early.
And then I changed it to 1 point for 10 yards, thinking the results would be very similar, if not the same, but they weren't. The RB difference was 182 for the year and 11 per week, and the wide receivers are 271 and 17 points per week. That's still damn big.
But he's saying there's a difference just between the half point per 5 yards or 1 point per 10 yards. Should be similar to the same, but they weren't. I don't know. I can tell you that I've run a bunch of tests on it, and it is accurately, calculating the numbers based on the stats. So I'm not sure what the difference is there between a half and 1 point, but clearly it's different. So, I mean, this just is what it is. It could be a lot of factors, but I can tell you that it's based off of, I have JSON data from NFL.com.
Yeah, well, I think the question is, it basically should be the same formula: 0.5 for 5 yards versus 1 for 10. It should, the total shouldn't be the same, but the weekly.
You would think the weekly would be the same.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at it. It may be an issue with the decimal point, so I'll look into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. Well, 0.5 for 5.
Honestly, I would trust the whole number version.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if the decimal point's messing up, the sentiment's the same. You
wide
clearly
receivers
see that wide receivers are still extremely valuable in that league. So, I would draft 4 of them in a row, definitely. And I think you're right. How do you pass up on Le'Veon Bell? I don't think you can. I would probably 11's a little bit early, but he's probably not going to be back there on the swing.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you're going to be able to find wide receiver value a lot deeper than you're going to be able to find running back value. So if Le'Veon Bell's there at 11, I would probably grab him and then plan on taking 4 straight wide receivers, unless running back value falls to you again. Mm-hmm. You can't say, I'm going to take 4 wide receivers and that's it. You got to watch, what value falls to you.
Right.
And, you can use our list. You can use anybody's list, really. You can use an ADP. Whatever, just to determine that value. Just use a source that you trust, and when you see value there, even if it's only 10 place value.
Could be a rounding issue too. I'm thinking about this, because I'm just rounding things to make them average, right? So it could be a rounding problem, but either way, it's going to be fairly close.
I can tell you one thing right now, Steeler fan. Lyle,
I'm going to figure it out.
He's going to lose sleep over this tonight.
Yeah.
He's going to go immediately home and begin crunching.
I'll figure it out, yeah. But I ran a bunch of simulation tests, and they were all accurate, so I'm not sure.
From South Central PA, I used to work in a little town called Greencastle there at a little radio station. Star 92, near Chambersburg, if you're that kind of South Central. Anyway, so we go to the email, right?
Yeah, apparently I have to bring home ice cream.
Good for you.
Yeah, I guess.
So is it Noah?
Noah says, hello, fellas. I recently joined a new league and inherited somebody's team. The team I am taking over finished 8th out of 10 teams, so I'm drafting number 2.
Perfect.
Scoring is half point per passing, half point for rushing, half point for pass completions, half point for rush attempts, half point for receptions. I can keep 2 of the following: Julio Jones for a 2nd, Brandon Marshall for a 6th, Matt Jones for a 14th, and Tom Brady for an 11th. His initial thought was to take Julio, but given the scoring, I'm considering letting him walk and keeping Brady even with the suspension and Brandon Marshall. That way I'd be able to spend my first 2 picks on running backs. Marshall was the 4th best receiver in his league. Julio was number 2. Magic Formula says go running back in the first 2 rounds. This is disregarding keepers from other teams. That's a big difference, though. That's a big thing. Since we have another week to lock in. So here's the thing. He says he's been a listener for 6 years, loves the insight, appreciate the guidance. And
thanks, man.
We are mediocre, pal. Here's the thing. So the Magic Formula says that running backs are the most valuable, which is great. That doesn't mean you should keep a crappy running back. You have 2 great wide receivers here. And if you can keep Julio and Brandon Marshall, there's no question that you keep them.
Especially Brandon Marshall for a 6th.
You just draft running backs
around them.
Yeah.
Get a first-round running back.
So when we
get
say,
a third-round running back.
When we say running backs are the most valuable, you should draft them early. What we're saying is, and we've always said, is if you can start 3, you should draft 3 in the first 5 rounds. I don't have a problem if you draft them in 3, 4, and 5. Which means you could draft a wide receiver first and second. I've, in the past advised against that because there were a lot of first-round running backs, but I'm guessing they're being kept. So Adrian Peterson's going to be kept. I can't imagine Todd Gurley's out there. So, if that's the case, you should keep these 2 guys and try to grab, a decent running back or 2 or 3.
By these 2 guys, you mean Jones and Marshall?
Yes. Yeah. No question, right, Kevin?
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Because you're still going to need wide receivers too, and you can keep 2 of the better ones available in the first 5 rounds.
Right.
Why not do that? Let's see. Oh, by the way, just so you know, it's league draft. It's league picking night tonight.
Yeah.
After the show, we're going to be drawing the league. So
yeah. So what we'll do is we'll close the show out and then we'll draft
these are the money leaguers right here.
Yeah. It's fun.
Those are the money leaguers.
Yeah.
Ready to be chosen.
Ooh.
Thebe Street says, first post, by the way. So I've lost the championship in my league 3 times in the last 4 years. We've fluctuated members over the years and are now playing in an 18 PPR, starting 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, so you can start 5 wide receivers, a kicker, and a defense. I know the magic formula says to take a wide receiver. Does it? Did you run the numbers?
I would guess it does too. But
yeah,
the 2 quarterbacks
makes
makes me suspicious.
Yeah, but there's a real chance of getting either Zeke or David Johnson when I pick 6th. So I pass on one of those guys. So should I pass one of those guys for my first pick?
No.
You should not pass on them?
In a PPR, it's hard for me to pass on a guy like David Johnson. Zeke won't be there, I don't think.
At number 6, probably not.
But David Johnson might, and he's just a special player, and he's a great receiver too.
He scored double-digit TDs last year as a rook, and wasn't even starting until like week 14.
He's super special. So, I get it, but again, the Magic Formula says wide receivers, sure, okay, but that doesn't mean you have to draft one with your first pick. And I think that it's the same if you're in a PPR league and your numbers say running back and Antonio Brown's there and you have the first pick. I don't hate you drafting Antonio Brown there, right? Just know that you got a long ways to go before you can start drafting running backs. I don't hate it, but you need to nail those positions. Here's the big takeaway from the Magic Formula. Don't draft a tight end. And don't draft a quarterback before you fill all those other skill positions. Now, in your league, you have 2 quarterback league. So I would guess that quarterbacks and running backs are pretty close.
Probably.
So I would try to get Cam Newton. I would. But that's really the biggest, really the only difference, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely try to get 1 running quarterback to be sure.
Yeah.
If you can get Cam, great. If you can't get Cam, get Rodgers. If you can't get Rodgers, get Tyrod. If you can't get, you can put Andrew Luck in there too. He doesn't run as much. But,
yeah, but Luck's pretty good, though.
But before Tyrod got hurt last year, he was a top 5 guy.
Yeah, he was awesome, yeah.
Right. So if he can stay on the field, he could potentially be a top 10, quarterback. So all those things are good. So he says, who do you take at 6 and then back around at 11th overall?
Well, 11, that's pure speculation at 11, but it would be a wide receiver, I can tell you that much.
And if you haven't done it already, definitely use the calculator on the website to actually run the numbers. Put your scoring system in and see what it comes out to be. You may find quarterback in the first round is the way to go because you can start 2 of them.
Yeah, but I think you could probably get a guy like Keenan Allen or maybe even Allen Robinson at 11.
It might be a little early. I mean, I think Keenan Allen has number 11 value, but I think you can probably get him maybe in the 3rd round.
Maybe.
But
in this scoring system, people might just go after wide receivers.
Could be. They should. Know. So also historically, I've made a living of picking up injured rookies mid-season, guys coming off of major surgery or guys my league doesn't know about. A few real examples would be Peyton with the Broncos last year, Josh Gordon, Keenan Allen, Kelvin Benjamin, Gurley, OBJ. I also got mid-round picks on Allen Robinson and Brandon Marshall last year, which is cool. What guys can you think of that I should highlight like that this year? We were talking about him earlier, Deion Lewis. He's going to be a guy who comes back in mid-season, just past mid-season, who If he was healthy,
You can
he
get
would
him forever.
he would be a first round pick.
Yeah, well, I don't know about first round,
In
but
a PPR, he would.
He'd be up there. You can get him like forever ago too, like just the latest of late rounds.
Yeah,
because he's out for so long. So yeah, I would target guys like. So that's a really good one, Kevin. Fortunately, there aren't a lot of injuries right now, and I was kind of surprised because we haven't had that major.
Do you know why?
Off-season.
Stars aren't playing,
Yeah,
dude.
they're not, dude. They're really
just not.
They're just like middle finger.
So basically, the teams don't want to have 4 preseason games, but the league wants to have them because it's money. It's TV money. It's stadium money.
Tickets money. I got to pay the same price.
Right.
It's the same price for a preseason game.
Exactly. So for the owners, it's money. The coaches are like, I'm not going to put Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell out there to get hurt. Mm-hmm. You look at Hard Knocks. Even in practice, Jeff Fisher is saying nobody tackles 30. Do not tackle Todd Gurley in practice.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't need to be hit.
No.
He'll get hit in preseason games when he's out there for a series.
What you can do is look at people like you have done in the past from last season that got hurt or had an off season. DeMarco Murray comes to mind. I'm hearing he's looking great in Titans camp. Listen, I know everybody's like, DeMarco Murray. He was a horrible fit for a Chip Kelly system.
He was.
And the year before that, he was the rushing leader. He's a bad mofo. I'm not saying he's going to do that again, be the rushing leader.
But if they let him run downhill,
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be really good.
Look at a guy like Eifert, by the way, for tight end value. He's
really
probably going to start the season on the pup. Ladarius Green may fall into the same category. I don't know that he's going to start the season on the pup, but a lot of people are scared away by those 3 letters. So those are guys you're going to be able to find value in. Even in the draft, you'll be able to find value because when somebody sees pup, they just go right on by.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin, I actually really like. I know Funchess is blowing up in camp and stuff, but
and Kelvin came back a little fat, and
doesn't matter.
By a little fat, he's probably 10 pounds overweight.
I think you can roll the dice on that guy. Kevin White is another dude that I'm really curious about. I think Jordan Matthews could be a monster
if he can hang on to the goddamn ball.
I know, but he's banged up right now. Dorial Green Beckham could be a monster. Kicked out of Tennessee camp, head not on his shoulders, coming to Philly, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? They should put him on the outside and just say, go deep.
They should.
That's just it. You don't have to learn an offense when you're on the field.
Just burn.
Go deep.
Just go.
And he'll stretch the defense. And if he's open, Sammy will throw it out there. You never know. Mm-hmm. Maybe he catches a couple of games.
I'm hearing great things about Philip Dorsett, too.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot about him.
Hearing good things about Rashard Matthews as well. He's a guy who I think I got him yesterday in the 7th or 8th, and he's a number 1 wide receiver in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Also, Tajay Sharp, I got him in the 16th round yesterday.
That's a cool pick. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, you probably have to drop him at some point, but
because unfortunately, I have to still get a kicker or a defense. I didn't draft one.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to kill somebody. Anyway, he says, love
Always
the podcast, been listening for years, but never registered. Well, good God, man, welcome. Not prepared for this draft, so I could use some help to maybe win it all for once. Well, just, dude, keep coming back, asking us questions every week, and if we don't give you, the answer you want, at least we'll make you think about it a different way, maybe.
All right.
That's what we do.
Chris says, I attached my numbers to the magic formula here. Recently I asked you guys about a 1 PPR Superflex league, and you guys said with the option to play 2 quarterbacks, I should draft a quarterback early. I believe one of you said draft Can or Aaron in the first round wouldn't be a bad idea. It's not horrible.
No.
Maybe I'm reading the formula wrong. Put my numbers in with the option to play 2 quarterbacks and 4 wide receivers in a Superflex, and it says wide receiver is still the most valuable at 17 points versus a quarterback at 14. If you guys can just clarify for me what the right move. Never played in a Superflex. Sounded fun. So, all right. The bottom line is, you're right. What we were saying is when you can play 2 quarterbacks, you almost always should. But in your league, you can see there's a 3-point difference between quarterbacks and wide receivers from a week-to-week basis. This means that wide receivers are technically more valuable than quarterbacks in your league. However, you can still start 2 quarterbacks. You don't have to start 4 wide receivers. You can start 4 running backs or, whatever. There's a lot of options you have here. It's actually kind of cool. I'd like to play in one of these leagues, too, at one point and try to figure it out. But they're
we can make the money league.
They're relatively close. Like all of them are. Quarterbacks are at 14 a week. Running backs are at 13. Wide receivers are at 17, and tight ends are at 12. So at most, you're losing 5 points a week if you make a horrible mistake and draft Gronk, which is pretty small when you compare some of the other things. But again, that's a 1-year calculation. I would ask you to go back and rerun them. This screenshot is from when I didn't have the 3 and the 5-year averages done. They're done now, so rerun these numbers and go take a look. But at the same time, the point is that Cam is so much better than everyone else. Rodgers, I would debate.
Yeah, he used to run more than he does. He's older now. He wants to throw the ball away.
I would say if you can get Cam, you should. But at the same time, if I'm looking at this league, if you can get Antonio Brown or Julio Jones or one of the top wide receivers, you totally should. And I'm guessing Cam's ADP is not in the first round, so I'm guessing nobody's going to draft him there. You could probably snag him in the second, depending on where your draft spot is. And if you can, you should. So based on these numbers, I would load up on. I would get at least 2 quarterbacks. And I would get 4 wide receivers and a couple running backs in the first, let's say, 7 rounds, 8 rounds. That's how I would roll. I wouldn't worry about tight end at all.
I drafted a tight end in the 16th round yesterday.
Yeah, I just wouldn't.
And, I didn't care who. Vance McDonald, 49ers, I don't care.
But this is an interesting league where everybody's relatively close.
Yeah.
When you have a difference between quarterbacks and running backs of 1 point, that's negligible.
3 points, actually.
It was.
Oh no, it was one.
One between quarterbacks and running backs.
Right.
Wide receivers is 3 points. Yeah. So, but it's still a pretty slim margin. So I would encourage you to run the numbers one more time with the 3 and the 5-year averages and see if it comes out any different. Usually, those things can tell you where the league really is. Last year was a bit of an anomaly. It really was. I mean, if you just run the 1-year numbers versus all the other averages, and you can see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. So Brian Lyon on the forum says, any chance we can get an auction league centric show out of you wads this year? An entire show? No, probably not. We answer questions as we go. We actually did spend a good 20 minutes on auctions a couple shows ago.
I would like to play in a super hardcore auction league. I played in a few of them.
Yeah, it's been a while though.
I didn't like it. The draft take for freaking ever. Just was like, eh.
Yeah. Sorry, I was actually trying to open
okay.
my sheet.
No, take
He
your
says,
time.
I'm manning up, and you can fill space. You can speak.
No,
I'm manning up and
I was
doing...
taking a drink, actually.
Oh, sorry. Manning up and doing an auction league for the first time this year, 12-team, $200 budget, standard scoring positions, etc. Any recommendations on budgets or positional spending? Looking forward to having a few beers and poning you two on Sunday. Brian's in our regular Monday league.
And that's going to suck.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to win. He won the one time, and that was
but he wins at push-ups.
He does.
Dude, he's a big mofo. When we met him, he was a little pudgy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell he worked out in the past, but he wasn't exactly, Mr. Olympia.
Right.
But now, like 2 or 3 years ago, he came to one of our drafts. I was like, "Damn, what are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, exercising." I'm like, yeah. Just he's gigantic.
He can crush you like a little aluminum can.
No, I know jiu-jitsu now. He can't do nothing to me.
Yeah, he can.
No. Whimper on the ground as I crush him.
Okay.
Whatever.
Wait, no, we didn't answer his question.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
You're over there talking
Making
about
fun of him.
You're over there threatening people with jiu-jitsu or something. Whatever.
I didn't threaten anybody.
You did.
You said he was going to kick my ass. And I said no, I would defend myself. Proudly.
And you said he'd be whimpering on the ground.
He would be.
Are you drinking a land shark?
I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forgot I had those. Anyway, so you're questioning about the $200 budget, recommendations on budgets or positional spending. The thing about an auction league for me is I'm going to spend as big as I can on 2 players.
Right.
And then I'm going to fill in. If you look at the auction list ahead,
60% of your budget, probably.
Probably not. It depends. If you're looking to get Antonio Brown, it's going to be 25% of a $200 budget.
You think?
I think.
I think it's going to go for more than that.
I think it's. I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to go much past. For a $100 budget, you can say $60 on a guy.
So I'm going to tell you right now. Maybe I guess 25%. I think it's a little bit more than that.
It may be a little bit more than that, but
I would guess that with $200, you're probably spending somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 to $70 on Antonio Brown.
That's a little high for me, and the only reason that is, I mean, Antonio Brown's obviously the top receiver, okay?
Right.
But if you don't have Antonio Brown, if you have Des Bryant and you have Jarvis Landry and Brandon Marshall, you're still doing okay.
Yeah, and you could probably get Des for $40.
Yeah,
something like that. What do you have him at?
37.
In a $200 league.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the depth of wide receiver now has gotten to the point where, Antonio Brown's awesome, and if PPR he's going to get you, 130 extra points.
He is so much better than everyone else.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Which is why he's at 49, and Beckham's at 46, and Jones is at 46, and then the next guy, who's DeAndre Hopkins, is 40. He's
right.
Much more than the fourth guy even. So. But you can still get, guys who are down at the 20, number 20 is Dante Moncrief for $20.
Hearing good things about him too.
Right. I mean,
really good things.
So the depth in these positions has decreased the top. It's kind of squeezed it a little bit.
Understood. It's a little bit magic formula-ish. Maybe you don't want the top guy in every tier because you're going to overspend for that top guy. You can get David Johnson for $40 or something, and Gurley will cost you 57 or something like that.
I have Gurley at 42 and David Johnson at 41.
All right. Well, I'm just saying that I don't know. It's interesting, but I think that we were pretty much on the same page. I mean, I went a little bit higher than you would, and maybe that's the gambler in me.
Did you put auction numbers in?
Not in my league.
Okay.
No. I'm guesstimating off the top of my head. I'm saying roughly, I would say more than 25%, though, for the top guy.
Right. Now,
I think you're going to have to spend it. What should you spend? Different question. If you want Antonio Brown, you're probably going to spend $60 to $70.
I probably wouldn't want to go that high, but if you feel the need that you have to have him, then, definitely put a cap limit on what you're willing to spend, just like you were buying anything else.
And there's got to be a $5, variance to that too.
Like I will spend no more than $60, but if I can get him for 63, I will.
Right.
Right.
It's $3 additional.
Right.
But if it becomes 7, then it becomes 10, then it becomes 15, then it's ridiculous.
Right.
So you got to have a stopping point.
So with that in mind, you say, okay, I'm willing to go 10% over my top price. So if my top price is $50, I'll go to 55.
Right.
So,
but if you go to 55, you can't do 56. I'm just saying, this is where auctions really bother me.
Right.
Because I go, I already bid 55. I know I'm past my budget, but I already bid 55. Right?
And I feel like I'm wearing him down.
Right. He just bid 56. It's $2, and I can have Antonio Brown. And if he says no, I'm bidding 58, then guess what? I just drove his price up. And then I already bid 57, dude.
Might as well go up to 60.
Might as well.
That's where you get into trouble.
I know.
That's why you know, and there's going to be those players that you have to have. For a lot of people, and you were one of them. LT was the guy.
LT was the guy I had to have.
Had to have him.
I would have paid the farm for him in an auction.
Exactly.
And that was justified, though. It was.
And, well, yeah.
I won the league back to back when I got him.
Well,
I did.
You won back to back.
I did. Well, the first year I drafted him in the 3rd round. The next year I ended up with the first pick and I drafted him number 1.
I don't remember you ever winning the league back to back.
I won back to back. Go back through it.
Oh, I will.
I totally did.
Doesn't let you get away with that.
Freaking hate you. Maybe there was a 1 year gap. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe there was.
But I had LT 3 years in a row. LaDainian Tomlinson. Had him 3 years in a row.
I do remember that. Now, as far as positional spending goes, run the numbers through the Magic Formula calculator. Yeah. And find out if you want to spend more money on Gurley than you do on receivers, or if you want to get Brown, let that be your guide. Don't know what your scoring system's like, so can't help you here. But we can certainly talk about it on Sunday when you're blowing up the draft,
right,
as it were. So now's your time to.
I'm going, dude. I'm clicking buttons. Jess and Drew, I guess.
What's up with Kurt?
Kurt was making fun of us, wasn't
He was.
he? Oh, okay.
But he has a nice picture in there.
Okay. Did he have a question?
Actually, he didn't have a question. He was just telling us that our
We messed
Boston
up.
Spies was incorrect.
Yeah, we were. You actually said that. I just agreed.
Right. And my response to him was, we've
So-
been out-geeked.
Yeah, last episode, Kevin talked about the Death Star plans, and a lot of Boston spies died to get this information. We were talking about that in terms of A New Hope. Apparently, we were wrong. That's Return of the Jedi.
Right.
We're a bunch of idiots. We're not geeky enough. So, Jess and Drew say, hey, fellas, I'm in a fairly unique league, 16-team standard redraft. I start a quarterback, a running back, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a defense, and a kicker. I don't want to buy into the no RB strategy. I try to avoid one-year trends. However, does only having 1 running back and 3 wide receivers mean that I should target wide receivers early? Yes. Yes. Super clear.
Yeah, because you can start 3 of them. You only, at this point, you treat running backs like you treat tight ends and quarterbacks.
Yeah. So
You only need 1.
100%. So you can only start 1 running back, but 3 wide receivers. That's kind of scary.
Did say fairly unique.
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, the numbers are just all over wide receivers here.
Yeah, are you actually running it through?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. So, yeah.
I'm going to guess it's double-digit difference.
It's pretty big. I mean, I didn't look at the calculator really closely, but it's pretty big. So here's the thing. You're going to want to draft wide receivers early, and quarterbacks might even be ahead of running backs in this situation.
Right, because they tend to be the highest scorers, which people say, some people think that means you need to draft them first.
It's kind of a big deal. I think the big equalizer is the 16 teams.
Yeah.
So it kind of reduces the numbers a little bit. But I would encourage you to go run the numbers yourself. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm almost positive that you should target wide receivers super early. I wouldn't worry about a tight end. I'd probably draft a quarterback before. Yeah, I think you're going to draft a quarterback, a running back, and 3 wide receivers in the first 5 rounds. Not necessarily in that order, but yeah, that's probably what I would do.
I might even go 3 wide receivers, a running back,
Then a
3 wide
quarterback.
receivers, then a quarterback.
No.
Because you only need 1, you're going to be able to find Carson Palmer in the 7th or 8th round.
That's true. That's true. So you need a running back. That's true.
So,
But you got to have a good one. I don't know. It's a tough call, but I'm gonna tell you right now, wide receivers are the most important.
Yep, as we kind of anticipated there. So Isobay says, so I did a full mock draft by myself, similar to your mock draft. I manned every pick in a 12-teamer and treated every pick as though it were the utmost importance to that team. For reference, I'm preparing for a 12-team half-point PPR with the standard player lineup of quarterback, 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, flex, tight end, DK. Although it's not totally practical, it was a nice exercise in drafting because the goods go really quick, obviously, and Gronk definitely doesn't get picked in the 1st or 2nd round. My question is this: in a similar self-draft hypothetical scenario for you guys, when does the number 1 tight end and quarterback go when everyone drafting thinks like you?
It's a great question.
It is. We should have, maybe next year we'll go deeper earlier on those mocks.
It's a great question. I mean, because, when you get into the 4th or 5th round, it starts becoming it's probably still a mistake. It probably still is.
But it's hard to
technically a
say
mistake.
no to those guys.
It's hard to not draft Cam. It's hard to not draft Gronk in the 4th or 5th round. It really is. Like, you've already nailed a bunch of your skill positions. You can get the top guy
In the 5th round.
in the 5th round.
Well, a couple of years ago, I say a couple, it was probably 8. Lyle and I were drafting together. It was back before we split our TFFG leagues off to one me, one him.
Yep.
And, this was when, Manning, Brady, Breeze, Favre were all going in the first 2 rounds. And there sat Drew Brees in the 4th round.
Yeah,
We grabbed him.
we did.
And I think a couple picks later, his 6th round, there sits Tom Brady. We grabbed him.
We drafted him.
So we had 2 great quarterbacks for the entire year.
We did. We lost.
Yeah, we did.
We did not do well.
But what we should have done was trade him. Trade one of them.
Well, I think we tried, but people weren't biting. Either way,
Yeah.
it's a very difficult situation when one of those top like game changer players falls outside of the first couple rounds. This year it's going to happen, right? Cam will be out there. Gronk probably won't be, but Cam will be maybe in the third round. He might squeak out there. So it gets a little bit weird. But at the same time, I just fall back to the formula and say, listen, it doesn't tell me who to draft, it tells me what to draft.
He went in the second round yesterday.
Did he? This is the strategy that I'm following. It's not written in stone. However, if I draft Cam here, I'm probably making a mistake. But I think that people in your league are going to correct that for you.
That's why it doesn't pay to drink a lot of drafts, because if you pay attention and actually, I know it's hard. It's difficult to not drink at drafts.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah, I know. But paying attention actually helps you.
But I'm not going to fault you for drafting Cam Newton in the fourth round. No. What I will fault you for is drafting Gronk in the first or Cam in the first. Like, that's just a huge mistake.
Or basically Gronk anywhere, because he's going to go long before I'm going to want to take him.
But just hypothetically speaking, if he falls to the fourth or fifth round, you know what, dude? Okay, you're making a mistake, but it's probably not a massive mistake.
Yeah, but somebody else is going to grab him before that. In his scenario here, though, if everybody thinks like us,
I wrote an article 10 years ago called
"You'll never get Peyton Manning."
I'll never draft Peyton Manning. It wasn't because I didn't want him, just because somebody was always going to take him before me, and it was going to end up being a huge mistake for them. So
indeed, he includes a couple pictures of Charlotte.
Jesus,
I don't know what Charlotte's last name is.
Don't care.
I don't care either.
Good
Apparently,
Lord.
she skateboards in high heels.
Good Lord.
Just saying.
Yeah. She's gorgeous, man.
She's very attractive for a beautiful girl with a great body.
Here we go again. Brad says, gentlemen, last season our 10-team PPR league ditched kickers in favor of head coaches. On ESPN scoring system gives 10 points for a win and 0.1 points for each point this team scores. So if they score 30 points, you get 3. So that would be that would be 13 points if you win and they score 30.
Yeah.
Pretty small. We are keeping this around this year, and I'm trying to figure out a better draft strategy. Last year, I ended up with Chuck Pagano and attempted to stream coaches based on Vegas odds when the Colts tanked, but that didn't go well. MF puts them strongly above defense, but slightly below tight end. What draft strategy would you use for this position? I'm going to tell you right now. Here's the thing that bothers me about this. There's a lot, but here's what really bothers me about it. You're never going to know. It's like a damn kicker, dude. You cannot predict how they're going to play. So while the points might suggest that they're slightly above tight ends, they're way behind. Because a tight end is going to be on the field. He's going to have passes thrown his direction, particularly somebody who's involved in the offense, right? You have zero control over how many points they score and if they win or not.
So how I would strategize this is I would not care about the points. I would just look at a coach or a coach of a team who I feel is going to win 10 games this year, and take that guy.
Yeah, just roll the dice.
Just put him in there.
Try to get Andy Reid.
If you can't get Belichick, which everybody's going to want him, get Andy Reid, who's probably going to win 10 or 11 games.
The other strategy is you can go for a guy who might score a lot of points, like Chip Kelly or something like that. The problem is that you're only getting 0.1 for that. So even if they drop a 50 burger, Kevin.
Nice. It's only a fin.
It's a nickel.
Right.
So that's not.
Give me the 10 points for the win.
It's not significant. Yeah.
I won 50 points, and whenever the fractional point,
right,
0.1 points are going to get me, fine.
Yeah.
That's how I do that.
Right. Good luck with that, dude.
Yeah. It's I'm not sure I'd like it, but it's it's quirky, so it's different, and what the hell, have fun with it. Cheesehead, who have always liked his ScarJo
is great
avatar.
There.
Anyway, he says, "You guys suck. Thanks for all your mediocre advice." Hey,
you're welcome.
I think 12-team PPR welcome. With the 5th picks, first 6 rounds going wide receivers and running backs. For rounds 6, 7, and 8 based on IDP, can you pick them for me, please?
No. For quarterback, tight end, and a quarterback and TE value.
Quarterback, and TE in value. You want us to pick your IDP players?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that question.
I wasn't either.
I mean,
let's see.
Sure didn't mean ADP.
I think maybe he wanted to say ADP.
Maybe he did, but he said IDP. So
Because he says he's looking for quarterback and tight end value.
So it had to be ADP.
It had
right?
to be.
All right, so that's why I was confused because I'm like,
yeah. You know what? It took me to round 10 to get a quarterback yesterday, and I ended up with Tyrod Taylor and Derek Carr, which I'm totally happy with both of those guys. So if you're looking to get a quarterback in 6, 7, or 8, let's see what happened here.
I wonder if it's does it say a PPR? It doesn't say if it's a PPR or not.
It doesn't say PPR. So looking at because this is. I try not looking at ADP. I want to see a draft that I was actually in. So 6, 7, and 8. Brady went in the 6th round. Roethlisberger and Wilson also went in the 6th round. So I think if Wilson's still there in the 6th, you jump on him in a heartbeat. Palmer went in the 7th, which is I think maybe a little early
that's
for
good.
him.
Yeah, I like that.
It might be just 7. I would have liked it better in 8, but Bortles and Mariota, which he went really early, but Bortles in the 8th is good. I think that's good value there. And then 10th, Rivers, Eli Manning, and I took Tyrod Taylor. But they're still, I think, still on the board.
Tell you who I would 100% target, and I'm giving myself away a little bit here, but dude, 8th round or 9th round or so, dude, I'm drafting Derrick Henry. I'm hearing wonderful things about him.
Yeah.
And we all know how durable Murray is.
Yeah. And you know what? If it's a PPR, dude, if you're talking about value and this is he's really being ignored this year. If you're talking about like 12th, 13th round, get Darren Sproles if you're into PPR.
It's not a horrible go.
And in a West Coast offense, they're gonna get him the ball in space, and he's going. I'm not saying he's going to be Le'Veon Bell, but he's going to be good flex. Going to be certainly flex worthy all year long.
Could be. I don't hate any of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Post a picture. He says a name of a team name this year, Natty Bows.
Natty Bows.
It looks like a regular picture of two women frolicking, holding Natty Bows. I don't know. Is one of those your wife? Something? I don't know. Is one of those you?
Wow,
I don't know.
Just went right to the wife.
I don't know.
Shannon says, "Hey guys, thanks for not sucking." Well, we do what we can.
It's early.
Question about flexes with the Magic formula. I'm 12-team PPR that has a running back, a wide receiver, 3 flex. MF says, I use the maximum number of player per position. However, the average team starts 3 to 4 wide receivers and 1 to 2 running backs for optimal scoring. It is a PPR. Mm-hmm. In fact, the past 3 years, only 20 running backs typically crack the top 60. 60 is the number of running back / wide receivers started in the league each week. Rarely are tight ends using a flex, while 40 wide receivers are in the top 60.
Yep.
So, short story long, with the flex being in the conversation, shouldn't we calculate the actual people used in that position on average for the last 3 years as opposed to the maximum? Incorrect, sir. Since the drop-off between 20th and the 40th is much greater than the drop-off for wide receivers, the Magic formula will always skew running backs too much in leagues with flex, but not skew the numbers like this without a flex. Here's where you're wrong. I hear what you're saying. So you're talking about what's practically happening, and what I'm saying is theoretically possible. The theoretically possible is the only thing we know for a fact, right? So I know that you can you can start X running backs, right? I don't know that in your league people are going to start X running backs
on a week-to-week basis,
right? That we don't know that. So what I'm saying is, on my side are facts, right? And I'm trying to eliminate all the other BS that comes in that could totally vary from league to league, week to week. Time. I mean, you say on average, each team starts 3 to 4 wide receivers and 1 to 2 running backs. But I mean, does that happen week 12? Is it week 10? Is it week 8? We don't know any of that information. So, on my side, I'm trying to say we know that you can start a maximum of 3, and if you can start a maximum of 3, and the numbers are in one direction, it's indisputable that the higher number you should draft earlier, and you should try to start those. It's indisputable, right? It's 100% correct. Doesn't mean that if you draft that way, you're going to win. It just means that that's the most important in your scoring system.
Yeah, the stats are on your side there.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying, right? There's a lot of other variables in leagues that we could look at. But the thing is, none of them are based on fact. What I'm basing this on is the Magic formula is 100% fact. right? We know the amount of players you can play. We know the stats that those positions produced in previous seasons in your scoring system. And with that information, we can come up with a standard deviation that tells us which position has the most variance and therefore which position is the most important. Okay? If you want to build on that and start adding some stuff, peppering in some stuff from your league, that's fine. Okay, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you go against what the Magic Formula says, technically speaking, you're making a mistake, at least on draft day. Now, there's a lot of other factors that go on. I mean, we have waiver wires, there's injuries that can happen.
There's weather.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that can happen. So this is a very basic strategy to at the bare minimum, take advantage of your league. That's what we're trying to get people to do. Look at your numbers in your league, in your situation, and make decisions based on that information first. If you want to add stuff into that, go for it, dude. 100%. We all do it, man. I don't follow the MF 100%. I look at it. It tells me running backs are important. You know what? I'm going to draft a bunch of them early. What we're trying to get people to do, and this is the big thing, and I said it earlier, is stop looking at people like Gronk. Just stop. Right? The whole reason I came up with this thing was because people were drafting, 6 quarterbacks in the first round used to go. At least four used to go. And we were like, what are people doing? This is absurd. They're making a massive mistake. It's getting a little bit closer now. But at the same time, if you're in a PPR, you need to start looking at wide receivers. Okay, I don't care what the numbers say after the Magic Formula. I don't care what happens, week to week. If people are only starting 2, don't care. If wide receivers are crushing other positions in your league, or if running backs, or if quarterbacks, you need to look at those first, and you need to draft them and nail those positions first.
But knowing that if you play 4 wide receivers in your scoring system with 3 flexes, knowing that you're going to get those extra points per week, you're going to want to play 4 wide receivers because they're going to get you more points. So the Magic Formula can also tell you who to start on a weekly basis in your scoring system because the numbers tell you that.
It can. Assuming you have the right people for that.
Right, exactly.
Potential
if you're
boost.
Sitting there starting awful third string wide receivers due to injury, whatever, it's not going to be good for you.
Dude, listen, you say you're a nerd that loves fiddling with numbers. I do too, man.
Dude's an engineer.
Yeah.
He's
I totally love it, man.
So crazy.
And I totally agree with you. And I'd love to build on it. I've been trying for so long to try to expand it. But the problem is when I go beyond the facts, I end up in this super gray area, like the Twilight Zone, where nothing makes sense because there's so many freaking variables that I can't get my head around anything that I could even put a percentage on. What percentage of running backs get hurt? Year 1 it might be 5, year 2 it might be 20, year 3 it might be 15. It's just there's no consistency.
Right, and is that percentage going to apply to me?
It just doesn't work.
Right.
So I mean, if you can come up with it, dude, I'll do backflips. I'll be super excited, but I just haven't found it yet.
The elusive
stat
monster.
I mean, it's why I hate predictions and projections, right? Even week to week or yearly, it's nonsense in my mind. I can tell you right now that I project Antonio Brown will be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. He'll have 1,750 yards.
Unless he's not.
He'll have 111 catches and 12 touchdowns. I can say that.
He's going to come back? He's going to back up from 134 to whatever it was?
Why not? I'm just throwing numbers out there off the top of my head. Right? I'm throwing these numbers out there.
He's going to lead the league in receiving.
It means nothing. It means nothing. Because if he blows his knee out week 1, it's over. If he has a good season and Big Ben gets hurt, maybe it's over. You know what I mean? Every game he plays, it's pouring down rain. It's over. There's just so much stuff. The ball's not inflated right. Whatever the F. You know what I mean? He gets suspended for something. I just can't. I can't speculate accurately on any one player. And, dude, he's by far the most solid. Move back 30 spots. Right? Let's start talking about Dante Moncrief or, no idea.
Yeah, talk to me about Kelvin Benjamin.
No idea. No idea what he's going to do. No idea. So we can project all that crap based on, X factor and Y factor. But at the end of the day, it's a huge guess. And I don't like to guess. I like to know stuff.
Probably the second most steady guy is A.J. Green, who's been over 1,000 yards.
Julio's pretty good too.
Julio's good, but A.J. Green's like, since he came into the league, has been consistently producing year by year. So, if you're looking for that kind of steadiness, it's A.J. Green until it isn't.
Right, but the point is that those guys are really easy to talk about. But again,
that's why they're first round.
Go into the 8th round and talk to me about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We can't. It just gets stupid. Honestly, and I said this in the forum when we're talking about the Magic formula right now. There's a big thread about how we can expand on it. And honestly, when you get out of the first 2 rounds, probably round 1 is the safest, and there's always a few busts.
Oh yeah.
Round 2 is a little bit more speculative. After that, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no clue. I really don't.
Yeah, when you're talking about shall I draft Mohamed Sanu or Tyler Boyd, who knows?
Yeah.
It's a coin flip.
But even really good guys that are in the first few rounds, like I don't know. Let's talk running backs really quickly. Let me throw Devontae Freeman or LaShawn McCoy or Dougie Martin at you. What are those guys going to do? Right? You'd like to think that they're going to do good, but I would guess that one of those guys is going to screw the pooch.
At least one.
Right. So I don't know.
Yeah, Eddie Lacy's thinner. Does that mean he's going to stop sucking? Maybe.
He's looked good in the preseason, but what do we know? We know that
it's pretty
last year sucked.
It's pretty easy to look good in the preseason.
Here's the other thing.
Remember Sam Bradford, how good he looked in the preseason last year?
Actually, he looked good at the end of the year last year, and he's looked good in this preseason.
He has looked good.
His first game was amazing because he had 1 completion in the preseason.
And it was for a touchdown.
Was it?
I think.
No. Ryan Matthews ran it in. I think it was a 3-yard pass or something.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
And then he hit the sideline, put on a hat.
Yeah. But the point is, all this stuff, there's too many variables to. I wish that I could come up with some kind of matrix calculation that would figure this stuff out. But
we'd be rich.
I know, but I just can't do it, man. I just can't. So please, yeah, dude, if you can come up with something, Shannon, I'm in, dude. But for my money, I'm going to stick with the facts, and then after that, I'm going to make educated decisions about players individually. So if that's your league, if you want to pepper that stuff in, go for it, dude. But I honestly, I don't know that there's that much value in it, to be perfectly honest.
There you go. Cartbuster10 on the forum says, "Evening, asshats." He knows us.
He does.
I'm commish of a 12-team league, and I'd like to get your thoughts on implementing a couple of changes for this season. First is fractional scoring to eliminate ties. Second, eliminating kickers and adding a flex. 3, instead of randomly drawing draft order, you choose what spot you want based on random draw. Example, number 1 gets first choice of drafting spot. 2 gets second, and so forth. Thanks in advance. You're the best guys doing this she's nast. Thank you.
Thank you.
One at
We're
a
not,
time.
by the way.
Fractional, we have fun, though. And if he thinks we're best, we appreciate it, bro. Fractional scoring to eliminate ties. Yes.
Yeah.
I like
that. I hate ties.
Eliminating kickers and adding a flex.
Love it.
Sure. Instead of randomly drawing draft order, yeah, I dig that too. But see, here's the thing. I've been a commish of the league Lyle and I are drafting in on Sunday, and I don't make any single move without putting it to a vote of the players.
Right.
Because it's I'm the commish, but I'm not in charge of the league. If anything needs to change, it's gonna go up to a vote, and and there may be some discussion. We may table it to the next year. In fact, before last season, we said let's make this a keeper league. And we actually, made some rules for this year, and then some are going to be next year, just because we don't want to mess up anybody's, preparation.
Right.
So, definitely put it on a vote, and then, if everybody says, yeah, let's get rid of kickers and add a flex spot, that shouldn't be too difficult to pass on draft day, because nobody's planning on which kicker they're going to take. Pretty sure. They'll also probably want to vote in fractional scoring to eliminate ties. That's pretty easy to implement right away as well. As far as randomly doing the draft order,
that's interesting.
I like it. In fact, I was thinking about proposing for our league is, as opposed to coming in, since it's a keeper league, as opposed to coming in and getting your draft position, talking about doing this for next year, is in reverse order of finish. If you finish last, you get to pick your draft spot for the next year.
Okay. Can I trade that spot?
to somebody else.
Yeah. That's what I'd really like to implement because I like being able to trade draft picks.
The problem with that is since we do it live, it would be very difficult for me to keep track of.
No. We would know at the end of the year who gets their choice.
Right.
By X date, they have to put in their choice, and then they have a month window or whatever it is to trade that choice.
Right. So you trade, say you get the first pick, you trade that to somebody else for a third round pick. Then I got to keep track of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could do it in Flea Flicker though. It's just a one keeper, just like the Dynasty League.
Right, but we don't draft on Flea Flicker. We draft in person.
Correct. We don't, but we would set up the draft order there, and then you would have it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
In theory, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In theory means he doesn't understand.
I do understand, but it's work for me, not work for you. So I want to look at it.
Kevy's a little slow. So, Chris says, I just did a mock draft on ESPN where I picked 11th in a peeper. Ended up picking Lamar Miller and Lev Bell with the first 2 picks. When I picked Miller, Allen Robinson was the best wide receiver available.
Who is this?
It's Christopher.
Okay.
And to pick, and I was hoping I could get him after the guy at 12 made his 2 picks, but he ended up taking Robinson. So at that point, I went with 2 RBs. How do you think of the rest of this draft turned out? So we ended up with Tyrod Taylor, Miller and Bell. He mentioned Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Zach Miller, Fitzgerald. I like Lockett on the bench. I don't think he's going to be on your bench very long.
Don't think so either.
McManus.
Vikings, yeah.
He's a
kicker. Yeah.
Denver kicker. Rashad Jennings, Sterling Shepard, Forsett Ellington, wide receiver, by the way, and Sharp. And he got Chris Johnson, too. Honestly, it's
some upside players here.
It's okay. There's some upside players, but like I don't really understand drafting Chris Johnson all that much. Stuff like that is really sort of speculative. What I'd like to see on this list are more super upside players, like a Tyler Lockett. These are the kind of guys I go after once I've filled. I've said this many times, Kevin. I will fill my first 6 spots, like 1 through 6, right? Mm-hmm. After that, I'm just playing craps. I'm just rolling the dice. And sometimes I go earlier. Like I drafted Adrian Peterson in the 3rd round. Everybody laughed at me. Yeah, it turned out he was pretty good. Same thing with LaDainian Tomlinson. I drafted Antonio Gates in the 8th round when he was, I think it was his 2nd year, I think.
Right. Well, he didn't get much playing time the year before.
Right. So that's the kind of thing that I like to do. I love your first several picks.
Right. I also like Sharp from Tennessee. I like Shepard from the Giants. Jennings.
Well, Shepard, I don't know about, man. Can he start alongside Odell? It's a bad team. He's, too young.
The defense is awful. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So
maybe
he's a high upside player.
He is a high upside player.
But
I'll give you that.
As opposed to Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, if he's still out there, you mentioned.
Right. Forsett's another guy I'm not super stoked about.
He should be starting at least initially. So there's a chance that he can see your roster. But yeah, Chris Johnson's just one of those. Hey, he's here, and I know the name, and he could do something. I would much rather get somebody who could blow up as opposed to blow up a knee.
No, I will say this: I super love Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I know that he's not a high upside player, but he's just so amazing. I think he's probably going to have another good season.
I do too.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
There you go.
We're done with questions on the forum. So Dustin says, "What's up, guys?"
We have so many more.
I know.
I thought we were done.
What's up, guys? I drafted a few extra players instead of a kicker in defense and have to drop 2 of these players at some point. I'll wait until the last minute, but for now, who do you think it should be? He's got Mariota. Bortles is the starter. Rashard Matthews, Kevin White, DeAndre Washington, Corey Coleman, Charles Sims.
Ugh.
Base the decision purely on the list. I have good depth at both wide receiver and running back. These spots are stashes for a hopeful breakout year. Let me tell you who I wouldn't drop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drop Mariota.
No.
I wouldn't drop Kevin White.
No. Wouldn't drop Matthews either, obviously.
I wouldn't drop Corey Coleman. To me, Washington and Sims.
Sims is the guy who's on my hit list.
Yeah. You have to drop 2, though. So I think Corey Coleman's going to end up starting. DeAndre Washington has to have things happen before he sees the field.
Sims is the only one that I'm really dead-eyeing.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think Kevin's right. Yeah, it's hard. I wouldn't drop Mariota either, especially with Bortles there. He's actually dropping a little bit down ADPs.
A little bit.
I find funny. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's it. But, dude, by the way, it's pure speculation. Right?
It is.
We're just
Kevin White's basically a rookie.
Yeah.
He stood on the sideline last year, but all indications is that he's he could have been really, really good last year.
Yeah. Plus, he's working with Austin Jeffrey. He's pretty damn good.
Our opinion, DeAndre, and I would love to have DeAndre. I'd love to have Charles Sims.
Yeah, me too.
I don't really care about Charles Sims.
Charles Sims, again, he's the guy on my hit list.
So, if I had to drop one of the other guys along with Sims, it would probably be Washington.
Right.
Because if he's going to become, a weekly fantasy player, that means Latavius Murray's hurt or, otherwise damaged. Right?
Yes. No, I'm laughing at the next email. So, John says, "Hey, fellas, thanks for your unpolitically correct show. It's fantastic." Well, that's up for debate. Now, I apologize for the lengthy email. By the way, he still writes it. But I believe you'll find it interesting. Takes a little strategic thought, so this may be one for Lyle to handle.
Which one
no
is this?
offense,
Is this John?
Kevin. It's John.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'll just use...
No, you don't get to walk.
Back.
Good Lord. Well, by the time you get back, I might have read it all. All I hear now is how you must grab wide receivers heavily out of the gate. I'm in a 12-team league that we'll be drafting next week. I picked 5th and been mocking like crazy. I've tried numerous strategies to find a team I like with the approach of making sure I end up with a team that is dominant to RB while grabbing a quarterback earlier than most. Now, hear me out. And a note for my draft position. I believe this only works if AP Gurley and maybe David Johnson are still available. In most of my mocks, Peterson has been available at 5, so I nab him. In the second, I've been usually getting Le'Veon Bell or Jamal Charles, which is perfect because later in the draft, my top two running backs have great handcuffs to solidify my value at RB. Lacey and Rawls also work out similar in a watered-down sense. Let me stop you there. Handcuffs are BS, dude. Not a big fan. Here's why. You're counting on an injury, and those are completely unpredictable. So while it might make sense to draft a backup running back occasionally if they're getting reps, I would not say that that's a good strategy to have. All right, next. Let's look at the top wide receivers in the draft. Brown, Beckham, Jones, Hopkins, Green, Bryant. Besides Hopkins, the QBs are good, but not considered the elite or exactly part of gunslinging offenses. So at this point, I add my Q. The wide receivers, I believe, are part of elite passing offenses. Let me stop you there. Another mistake. Great that you're thinking this way, but it doesn't matter if you think that somebody's in a quote-unquote elite passing offense. Hopkins is amazing. He's amazing. He's had crappy quarterbacks forever, and he's still amazing.
So what did I miss?
So he's breaking... I'm not going to read this back to you. So he's breaking that mold. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway... So guys that may not be number one at times, but can outperform the number one. Because what I'm finding, what he says, I'm finding that I'm seeing wide receivers that are out there in round 4. There seems to be a huge number of them that don't really separate themselves from one another. That's true. And in round 3, there's great talent, Keenan Allen, Baldwin, Amari Cooper, etc. So at this point in round 4, I find a chance to get either Rodgers, Russell, Breeze, or Luck. I believe at least 2 of these will be there, and within the next couple of rounds, I could go ahead and grab another good running back or even tight end. Mistake to draft one of those quarterbacks. Never. Never, dude. Get Carson Palmer in the 8th.
Get Tyrod in the 10th.
Yeah.
Get Derek Carr in the 13th.
Back to the wide receivers on my queue. Let's look at the projected QBs for this year. Don't look at projected anything. Throw it and still left. There would be plenty of them except for Green Bay. So he's got Breeze, Snead, and Martin, Palmer, Floyd, Fitz, Brown. I don't hate you trying to double up like this. It's actually a really cool strategy. Luck, Moncrief, and Dorsett, Bortles, and Hearns. I like that. Mm-hmm. I actually do. It's great to double up when you can. Dude, Steve Young and Jerry Rice were stupid.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, you just rack up points all the time. It's just really hard to nail,
Because you know what? Other guys want those players too.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to go 1-2 on them, it's difficult.
Yeah. Brady Hogan, no. Newton Funchess is probably interesting, but are you going to get Cam? Not outside the first 3 rounds. Although not considered part of the passing team, Crabtree might be a sneaky late pick. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
So if you nab 3 to 4 of these guys to go along with your third or fourth round receivers, I believe production and upside will be enough to make it worth running the market on running backs. I'm going to disagree there. I think you're getting a little bit too cute. I understand, but you're basing this on a whole bunch of speculation.
Right.
Right? It's just a bunch of guessing. Which, dude, if you're good at guessing, and a lot of people are, feel free to go for that. I'm real bad at it. Right? I gamble on sports all the time. I always
Poorly.
lose. Yeah, I always lose. I'm terrible. Right? Sports gambling is legal in Delaware. I'm terrible. Right? This is why I try to base all my decisions on facts when I can. Anyway, so what this also does is swing in your favor the chances to trade because RB desperate teams are the best to trade with. I hate to keep disagreeing with you because you said you love the show.
You're killing this poor guy.
Yeah, I am. But drafting people to trade them is also a terrible strategy. Right?
Because you have to find trade partners, and chances are they're not going to want to trade with you.
You never know. If you're the one that's looking to trade, you hardly ever get the upside of the trade. We've done that in the past. We've grabbed people and been like, hey, that's trade bait. You know what, dude? It's really hard to execute a trade that's in your favor in a fantasy football league. And not only that, you have to nail positions where you're in a spot that you can go, hey, I can let this guy go. Which is almost never the case with injuries and bye weeks and like all the BS that happens.
One of the great, and I'm sure.
And are you hooking this team up? And are they going to be better now?
Right.
You have to look at all that stuff.
One of the great things I love about Flea Flicker, and I'm sure all the other ones have this as well, is a place where you can put guys on the trading block and people can go in there and see who's available. I go in there in Flea Flicker, which is a system we've been using for our money league. For, I don't know, a decade now.
Probably, yeah.
Right, so you can go back there, and there's guys still on the trading block from 2009.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever trades in that
Well, they
league,
trade
really.
in the offseason.
Well, the Dynasty League they do.
The Dynasty League they do.
Right, now, here's the thing. Last year, Brian Lyon, in this league, I had running back from New Orleans, Mark Ingram, and he had A.J. Green. I don't know who initiated it, but we traded.
You screwed him.
Immediately,
You screwed him.
Mark Ingram got hurt.
Yeah.
A.J. Green drove me to third place in the league. It was great.
Yeah.
But guess what? Guess who Brian kept?
Yeah, of
He
course.
kept Ingram.
Yeah.
Had to keep Ingram.
He says, I always find the best luck training during the bye weeks with the teams that will be hurting the worst for the upcoming week. Make the offers before the waivers go through, and you can also limit your waiver focus to mainly wide receivers. And yes, I know it's not always possible to stick to a plan during the draft. The draft always dictates the path. Thanks, love the show. Old man balls. So here's the thing. I know I beat you up in this email, but listen to me, and let me give you this huge caveat. Kevin and I are used to playing in leagues where people really understand fantasy football, right? They all listen to our show. They know our strategy. A lot of them dislike us. We're used to people who wouldn't make a bad trade. If you're in a league where you can take advantage of some of these situations, and this does happen a lot in your league, disregard everything I just said about trading. Because if you can, you should. I'm just saying that we don't see a lot of it, and it might be a bias because we have been doing a fantasy football show for 12 years. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind with everything I just said. And
disregard everything Lyle just told you.
Thank you for writing us War and Peace.
Yeah, you know what though? It was long, but
it was an interesting question though.
Right.
Yeah.
It was. Do we have more? Yeah, we have some more.
Okay, yeah, let's see.
The fantasy football guy writes, Tinker Stinker from the fantasy football guy sent you a message.
Oh,
Here
he sent us through the forum.
Yeah,
cool.
10-team standard, pick number 7. There's a good chance AP falls to me after doing some league recon, but I've been high on Lamar Miller for a while. AP scares me a little, and I think Miller can blow up given the opportunity for a ton of touches. Thoughts? P.S. Kevin, you suck.
Wow, dude, I'm getting love.
Yeah.
Usually people hate you or hate me.
Yeah.
Now they're hating on you.
They still hate you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But at this particular moment in the universe, people are hating on Kevin.
Which is fine.
Oh, I know.
Karmically, I'm good. Spiritually, I'm in a good place.
I've been used to it for so long now.
Yeah. All right, so back to the question.
He doesn't want your answer.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you right now, you're crazy. I love Lamar Miller. I love his new situation. I think the offense is going to be better, but you're crazy if you take Miller over AP. If AP falls to me at 7, I am super high-fiving my mouse button when I click draft, right? I'm doing a Falcon punch. You know what I mean? I'm doing 20 Brian Lyon push-ups and then like a Hulk Hogan elbow dive.
Onto the mouse button.
Onto the mouse button. As I'm Jimmy Superfly snooking off the top rope.
See, that's where you and I differ, okay, on this.
Oh, really?
Because I would not be able to get up from my sitting position because of my massive erection.
Right.
Being able to get AP.
Right.
So.
It'd just be massive.
Did you just cheese back there? Oh, you lying.
Crack my back.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
It sounded like a big pile of cheese.
No, I started turning my back and it was like...
Yeah, I heard something.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you want me to bust ass, I could probably work one up for you.
I prefer that you didn't.
Yeah,
that would be best.
Probably make an arrangement.
So, I know you weren't looking for my answer there, Tinker Stinker, but I hope you enjoy Lyle's.
Yeah. Are you reading the next one or me?
I read that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. I got confused because, he was all like, you suck.
Yeah.
So Bill says, just call me Bill. I don't have a cool name.
That's good. Neither way.
Been listening for a couple of years and love it. Thanks, you guys. Thanks to you guys. I nailed Gurley and Cooper last year. Word up.
Nice.
So I have 2 keepers, cost 1 round up from when they were drafted. I have to choose between 3. Keeping Gurley with the 4th. Wow, that's sick. Question, do I keep Cooper with my 3rd or Nelson with my 10? Ooh. Once I lost in the playoffs, I was so ticked I picked up Nelson. Pickup counts as a 10th rounder. I'm leaning towards Nelson. He was my keeper every year, and he was good and is so good. But now he's 31, coming off a big injury. Cooper is young, but will cost me a 3rd round this year. Cooper will be drafted in the 2nd or 3rd, as will Nelson. That is why I'm leaning towards Nelson with my 2nd keeper. Here's the thing. You're right. Nelson is better value. Clearly. It's not even close. Right? But here's my thing. If you can keep Cooper for another couple of years, I'm trying to think to the future, right? So is it always a round up? So like next year, are you going to get Cooper for a 2, and then the year after that you have to give up a 1?
That's a little gamey.
It's a little gamey, but I'd like to keep Cooper for a few years if I could.
Yeah.
Nelson's on his way out. I think he'll have another 2 good seasons in him, maybe.
Right.
Something like that. But you're right, he is 31. He's probably going to come down. So I would factor that into my equation here, like, next year and the year after. I think, though, it pains me to throw Amari Cooper back to the Wolves and go, yeah, somebody can draft him if they want to.
You know what? Let me make it easy for you. Look to keep Cooper this year because he is worth a 3rd.
He is worth a 3rd.
Maybe next year he's worth a 2nd, but you can, future you can worry about that. All right?
Jordy freaking Nelson for
understand.
10, dude.
You're getting him for a 16. I understand the love. I do. But I would love to. Cooper at 3rd is good value. I think it's right about his ADP anyway, a little after maybe, depending on where in the 3rd round it is. So, but I'm not worried about the year after that. I can make that decision then. If he blows up this year with 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns, maybe he's worth the 2nd round pick next year. Determine that then. Don't worry about, I'm going to keep him for more than a couple of years.
So you want the best value this year.
Right.
Which is Jordy Nelson.
Maybe. Dude's coming off an ACL tear at 31 years old.
At a 10? Okay. So let me ask you this. 6th round comes around in our league. Jordy Nelson's still out there. You going to draft him?
He won't be.
I didn't ask you that. It's a hypothetical. Do you draft him in the 6th?
Maybe.
Not maybe. Yes or no?
Well, I don't know. Who else is there?
You already have 5 wide receivers, and Jordy Nelson's there.
Then I need a running back at 6. I'm not going to get him.
Yeah, BS. You're totally going to draft him. You're lying.
I need running backs, too, if I have 5 wide receivers already.
How about the 4th round? You drafting Jordy?
That's a round earlier. How many wide receivers do I have? Well, who else is available?
Doesn't matter, Kevin.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't. Listen, Kevin's being silly.
Of course I'm taking Jordy Nelson in the 6th or 5th.
Thank you.
But if I'm sitting there in the 3rd round and Amari Cooper's available, I'm taking him as well. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I tried to hit my button, but I missed it. Sorry, I got some kind of allergy thing going on. I keep
Cold
sneezing.
and flu season. You're allergic to land shark beer is what the problem is.
Probably. It's not very good.
Well, if it's hot and it's, summertime and you're out at a barbecue, it's tasty.
Yeah, well, Miller Lite's tasty then, too.
Yeah, it's true. Are you going to sneeze again?
I bit it.
So here's the thing. In the third round, I'm taking Cooper, too.
So I think I disagree. And let me be clear here. I'm not saying that Cooper's not going to have a better season. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I think that Jordy Nelson's just too good value to pass up in the 10th round. He says, "Thanks for your help. Delaware sucks. Go Birds."
Delaware
Why does
sucks.
Delaware suck?
We can be
Delaware's
on
awesome.
Delaware's ass, man.
Yeah, Delaware's awesome, dude. Last question. Finally. Good Lord, guys.
Okay, it's sitting here, says, hi, guys, first time, long time. I just had my league auction last Sunday and didn't plan on it, but ended up buying a Stars and Scrubs lineup. 12-team half-point PPR, started quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a defense, and a kicker. No flex, $200 budget. Within 20 minutes from the start, I had bought Julio for 48, A.J. Green for 46, Zeke Elliott for 44, Sammy Watkins for 32. I had most of these purchases as a lot cheaper than my estimates, but was left with only $30. So I sat out the next 2 hours without doing much of anything until the other owners had spent most of their auction money. I ended up filling out my roster with quarterbacks Eli Manning for $3, Tyrod Taylor for $1,
Love it.
Jeremy Hill for $12, Alf Morris for $3, Bilal Powell for $1, Jerick McKinnon for $1, John Williams of Buffalo for $1, Devin Funchess for
$2. Love it.
Mike Thomas in New Orleans for $2.
Love that one,
Dwayne
too.
Allen for $2. A kicker and a defense each cost $1, I'm sure. I love my starting lineup, but my depth is very questionable. But you got guys with upside, which is kind of what you need.
Love Funchess, love Mike Thomas, man. Those are 2 great selections.
Should I trade a star to get some middle depth or ride with what I have and hope I can fill in from the waiver wire? I like choice B. Ride with your big-ass lineup and then pick up the waiver wire. I've already been offered Andrew Luck, DeMarco Murray, and Larry Fitz for Eli and Julio.
All 3?
Luck, DeMarco Murray, and Larry Fitzgerald for Eli. It was for Julio, basically.
I think I would take that.
Yeah, you're upgrading quarterback.
You got a great running back and,
a potentially great running back.
Yeah, a middling running back.
And
I think
wide receiver too.
I would probably take that selection.
Let's see. So he got A.J. Green and Sammy Watkins can be your 1 and 2 receivers. He needs 3 though. So then he would have to start, boo-hoo.
Funches or Mike Thomas or but again, the wire, dude.
You know what, Dan? I would stick with Julio.
Maybe Stan Pat. Yeah, Julio's so damn good.
It's not like your quarterbacks are so bad that Luck is going to win you the league. We know Julio could. It's a half-point PPR, right? Did he say that? He did.
He did. It's a half.
Yeah, I would stick with my beastly ass wide receivers. So hope you guys put out another random soon. I watched Jessica Jones because of you, and it was great.
Right?
Yeah. Jamie started watching that today.
Really?
I walk in and he's like,
so good.
20 minutes into Epi 1. I'm like, oh, dude.
So good.
So awesome.
Daredevil's so good. Watch Stranger Things, too. Stranger Things is amazing.
That's my next.
You haven't watched it yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
That's my next one, man.
So good. So weird and like E.T., but evil.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
So, geez, dude, that's the show.
Yeah, it's an hour 40, and we still got to pick names.
That's true.
That's right.
Peace out, bitches.
So if you put your name into one of our leagues, stick around after we're gonna pull those names.
Yeah, we're gonna pull them out of the hat next.
Or the pint glass.
Whatever.
Which is more keeping with our traditions.
It is. My daughter broke mine.
Is she really?
Yeah. Bummer.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we have pint glasses with our names on them and stuff.
Yeah. This says Kevin, the fantasy football guy, is occasionally useful.
Right. Mine said something else.
Probably douchebag or something.
Probably. It's all right.
Be more accurate. All right, we're out. We're going to be picking these names. So, what was that, Lyle? I quite didn't hear. Me? With the middle finger. He's telling me to go copulate with myself.
It was a finger. It wasn't exactly the middle finger.
It was.
Really?
Yeah.
No, there's 2 fingers here and 2 fingers here, so there is no middle finger.
Unless you count the thumb.
Oh, there it is. The tall man.
I think you have to. I like when you bring the knuckles up. You
got to bring the
You don't do the full fist. You bring the knuckles up. That's more insulting.
You do that, if you bring up the middle finger without the other knuckles, he's standing out there alone.
Yeah.
If you rock it like this,
Yeah.
he's like with his boys.
You gotta have the thumb out.
The thumb's got to be
You're
out.
hitchhiking. You know what I mean?
All right, we're getting silly. All right, we're out of here. Enjoy your weekend of preseason football. Week 3, always the best one. Allegedly.
Right.
All right, we're out. Enjoy your weekend,
suck.
and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Peace out, bitches.
All right.
Let's do this.
All right, so we're gonna be doing Money League first.
Really? We should do the free league first.
Well, I got the Money League in here already.
No, all right.
All right, so I'm just gonna draw them. Do you care? You want to type them?
I can. Let me make a new spreadsheet.
Well, why don't you just go into the forum and and just put them right in the forum?
That makes a little bit too much sense.
Yeah, I know.
Fantasy Football Guys forum home. I have to create a post under Fantasy Football Leagues.
That's right.
New post.
Now we're going to pick 10 out of this, and then we're going to pick 4 alternates. Okay. So what happens is, if the people who get picked don't throw their money in, then or don't want to play for whatever reason or whatever, then we'll use one of the alternates in order.
Results.
You ready?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to pick 10. Lyle and I are the other 2 that make up the 12.
Right.
All right, here we go. First off, in the Money League, we have Jimny Cricket. JIMNIKRIKET.
Jimny Cricket.
Jimny Cricket. All right, and second name is The Leaf Node. Longtime forum participant. Now, if you're watching, you can actually watch this on YouTube because this is compelling watching.
It is. It's good.
So, kick that guy back in. So you can see this is all on the up and up. Now we have friends who have been, on the forum for a long time that we don't give them special treatment.
Nope.
Strategy Man.
He's always in.
He is. Not a huge magic formula lover, that one.
I think he's coming around though.
Well, you kind of have to. It makes too much sense.
Yeah.
Okay, these 2 are stuck together, so both of them get in.
Wow, that's ballsy.
Greg the Golden Egg.
Greg the Golden Egg.
All one word. Big Boss 190.
190.
We're halfway through.
190.
That's correct.
Okay.
Some of the guys at the bottom get a shot. All right. Whoops.
You dropped it.
Recovered. Grizz 875. GRIZZ 875.
875. Congratulations, sir. You'll
I
be
spilled
handing
them all
us
out.
your monies. Why are you spilling stuff?
Because it's too hard to get to the stuff at the bottom. This way everybody's got a
Giant
chance.
fucking fingers. Did I just say F-bomb? I'm sorry.
You know what they say about giant fingers?
Yeah, I need bigger gloves.
Big gloves, that's right. Firebirds.
Oh, Firebirds. Congrats. He's long time listener there.
Yep. So we have 7 in. Durock. Durock's been around for a while, too.
It's not just Durock, though. It's Durock, what,
It's
82?
Durock 42.
42. Okay. Congrats, bro. Skate.
2 more to go. Let's go to this one. This is Throttle 82.
Throttle 82. You're in, bro. Tato Chip.
Bro Muhammad Ali. All right, so the last one. This person is in if they want to be. Mandrew.
And DREW. So we're going to do alts now.
Gonna do alts. Okay. Zledex.
Wow.
That dude's been around for a while. Very active forum guy.
He is, yeah.
Kind of a special kind of a character.
You could say that.
Yeah, I did say that. What would you say?
I
All
would
right.
Say weird.
Alternate number 2, Jefe, JEFE 777.
FA 777.
Third alternate is Buzz.
Oh, look at that. That is his username? Just Buzz?
Buzz. That's Buzz's Barbecue Buzz.
I know, but I just
Oop.
didn't know if there was a number associated or. Kevin dropped stuff. Now he has to bend over. This doesn't happen well. Pretty sure some angels just died or something.
Steve, 3333.
Steve, 3333.
Every time Kevin bends over, an angel loses his wings.
Yeah. So,
all right, so that's
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 4 alternates. We're done.
So you have them all listed?
Yep.
All right.
And I am posting it right now.
I'll go in and edit it later with instructions
Good.
and all that.
I'll do the other one. I don't have to type everything. You can start a goddamn thread.
I don't know why you have to take the Lord's name in vain.
Thread? Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Free league.
All right, let me get in there. Hang on a sec. I got to go.
No, you didn't wait for me.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wait. Oh, I got the first name.
So, fantasy football leagues.
Oh, this feels nice.
Dude, you're so creepy.
No, I have. Dude, I've been creepy. Where have you been?
Lyle's TFFG League.
No, they can't be in both, right? So we're going to separate these.
Well, you pull yours and then I'll pull mine. You keep yours out when I pull mine.
Kind of sounds dumb, but okay.
What, you're going to put him back in? That would be dumb, dipshit.
No,
Okay.
I'm not going to put him back in. I just wanted to call you dumb.
Yeah, well, it turns out you were the idiot. Okay, here we go.
Eldande.
ELDANDE. Remember, I
Correct.
typed all those.
Why'd you type them all?
Oh, I didn't type them, actually.
Printed them out and cut them out.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is TYE 257.
TYEE 257.
Correct. Picking 11 of these guys. And ball cockers. Just as it sounds.
Yeah, could you tell me how to spell that, please?
It's BALL your face. Heather C.
We actually have a woman playing this year. That's
Maybe.
awesome. Well,
Let's not be gender specific, Kevin. That's not. Seamus McGroove Daddy. There's a space in there, Kevin.
Yeah,
Between Seamus and McGroove Daddy.
And Seamus is spelled SEAMUS.
Correct. I have a nephew named Seamus.
How about that?
It's a small world.
After all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Next is Bucks Fan NJ.
BUCS
That's 6.
FAN NJ.
Number 7 is Big Boss 190 190. He's in both. Look at him. Look at lucky. It's very lucky.
Yep.
Next one is NYG Boys 72.
BOYZ
72. NYG BOYZ 72. So how many is that?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. So we need 3 more. And then alts. Next is Burrowin 91.
Spell that, please.
BURROWIN 91. 2 Mo that are guaranteed spots. But don't worry, alternates. We never get everybody in.
Yeah.
They always.
They forget and, all that.
Lurib 9. LURIBE 9.
I'll have to check that. I don't remember that. I may have fat fingered something. Of course I did.
Okay. Yeah, it's because you're stupid. Firebirds! Once again. And that rounds out the free league for me. Do you want me to pull 2 alternates and you pull 2, or are we doing 4 for each?
Let's do 3 and 3.
3 and 3, okay.
And here's the thing. If Lyle uses all of his alternates and I only use one of mine, he'll go to my alternates before we go back to the pile.
Alternate 1 is the leaf node. Alt 2 will be Wizard 70.
WIZZARD 70.
And last, and certainly least, is Scott W. Gunn.
There you go.
Kev?
Come on, lean, you fool. You bastard.
Okay, I'm actually going to duplicate your post and then just erase it. Like the stuff in it. Lyle's TFFG League, so let me just, okay.
This is as random as I can make them.
All right, dude.
Might want to see if we're still recording here.
I hope we are.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
Alternates.
Here we go. First one. Teamster 749.
749. Good.
Second one is. Ooh, I got two of them here. Dallas fan 54.
Hey. Long time.
EIRIP. IRIP. IRIP.
E-R-I. What?
PE.
P-E.
Wait a minute.
E-ripe?
EIRIP.
E-I-R-I-P. Hold on. E-I-R-I-P. E-rip. Okay.
Now, oddly enough, Eric P29.
Eric P. 29. Yeah, compelling stuff, I know, guys.
Isn't it Billy Joe Bob?
Oh, Billy Joe Bob. Been around a long time.
Yep.
Answers a lot of questions on the forum, he does.
Also, Senska 11.
S or C?
That would be an SENSKA 11.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. Yeah. Or gal. No idea, gender-wise.
Don't assign gender. It's
G.
rhetorical.
I know Jur.
Jimbaka.
Jimbacca?
CCA.
Okay.
That's 7. 4 more to go. Eagles home tomorrow night?
No.
G-Man 33.
Not only that, they play on Saturday.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
G-Man? What? 33?
G-Man 33.
Okay.
Jimny Cricket.
Jimnikr.
IKIT.
Jiminy Cricket.
All right, 2 more.
All right. Plus your 3 alts.
Plus my 3 alts. It's like Christmas. Doc D81.
Doc D81. You're in.
1 more.
Beat Kevin's ace.
Millennium Falcons.
Millennium Falcons. Hopefully I spelled that correctly or I lost my geek card. Yep. All right, alternates.
First alternate. Mandrew.
And again, perhaps.
Second alternate. Lollygagger.
L-L-I-G-A-G-D-E-R?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, L-O-G-G-Y.
Okay.
Rock Chalk exclamation point.
Rock Chalk exclamation point. Oh, I've seen that guy around too.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, guys. There you have it. Gotchas.
There you go. So we'll be throwing out information. So, we'll give you a few days to get in there and follow those instructions, And after that, we'll just start, maybe we'll send you an email through the email you put on the forum. And then if that doesn't work, we'll give you a couple days and then kick you.
Right.
Because we need to fill these leagues so we can get, draft days going and all that. So anyway, all right, we're out. Enjoy your show. Enjoy our show, hopefully. Enjoy your weekend, blah, blah, blah. All right, see you.
Blah, 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 blah. See ya.
Yada, yada.